Today's conversation, friends, is who am I? This is the existential question that more than 90% of human beings ask themselves. So stay tuned and let's play. My name is Leann Wolff, and you are about to experience how overwhelmed entrepreneurs shift into empowered entrepreneurs by embracing who they are and who they are not, so that they can profit by design, create on purpose, and love their lives. We tear down the industry norms and build businesses from our intrinsic uniqueness. Welcome to the Power of Self podcast. As entrepreneurs, we have been molded like a piece of clay for centuries. And today I'm going to help you see this through a new lens. So what I truly help clients with is leaning deeper into their unique human design. I help them recognize the natter and chatter of the conditioned mind and how that natter and chatter can actually hold us back from our greatness. And I also use the Enneagram as well as a tool because the Enneagram actually is really beautiful, how it can really cut through the heart of who we think we are. And once we do that, now we're getting deeper into the who am I answer. So let's play around with this for a minute. I'm going to give you a couple images so that you can see this in your mind. So imagine you have clay. Clay is laying on earth and it is settled in, let's just say, like almost like a basin. It's sticky, it's wet, it's malleable. And sculptors have been using clay for many years to create beautiful pieces of art. And those beautiful pieces of art allow us to be in awe of this very, very mundane clay that can now be placed into this beauty. But clay at its heart and soul is silica, it's water. It isn't actually a sculpture yet. But what humans do, we harvest the clay, we take that clay, we put it into boxes. So the clay was just at rest. Then we take it and we make it into a cube and put it in a box. But the clay doesn't identify, oh, and now I'm a cube. And then we take that cube and we take it to the artist's place of business. And he slices off a corner of it. And all of a sudden, the cube's not going, oh, geez, now I'm missing my corner. This is who I am now. Then he takes that piece of clay that he took off the corner and he begins to create art out of it. But the clay at the heart and soul of who it was just the silica and water put together. So why am I giving you this image? Well, because each step along the way, we had this view of what this clay was. We created language around it. We gave it labels along the way. Oh, it's just a box of clay. Oh, here's just a slab of clay. Oh, now all of a sudden, here's this beautiful sculpture of clay. And each one of these steps created an identity for that clay. And that truly is what happens with us as humans. We begin to walk along our path and we get these labels placed onto us. She's the smart one. Oh, she needs more help in school. She's not as smart. Oh, she's athletic. Oh, she's not athletic. Oh, he's really good at math. Oh, she's not good at math. We begin to get these labels placed on us. And what those labels do is they begin to place belief systems and identities for us. So in the human design system, our generators, manifesting generators, or our builder types that we call them in our business world. This is the existential question. Who am I? Now, the other types also have a desire inside of them to know who they are. It may not be as strong, but without knowing who you are, it's really hard to differentiate who the other is. But the generator type, that really truly is that builder type, they need to know. Okay. So now what I help you guys do when you work with me is I help you start to uncover these layers of belief systems of who you think you are. Because who we think we are, who we believe ourselves to be, create countless layers of an onion or a disillusioned identity that we get to peel away. One of the things that Ra always said was, there's the start before the beginning. And when you can expand your mind out to that, when we expand our mind out to that, it's like, oh, okay, there was something prior to something. I call it the consciousness field. Other people call it the fabric. Others say it's pure positive energy. Whatever your language is okay. Because really, do we know? I don't think we really truly know. But it is this, substance that we can now mold and create our own reality from. But what happens is, as humans, we allow for our memories, our experiences, our feelings, our thoughts, our relationships to then begin to label and define us as we walk around along our humanness. And what I help you do is to uncover those intricate little spaces where something's been stuffed in. I'm not good enough. I'm not inspirational enough. I'm so scared to fail. I'm inadequate. I got to prove who I am. And all of this begins to layer on that G center, that identity center, which really is the magnetic monopole. It holds us together. So all these experiences hold us together and yet begin to veil actually who we are. In my process with the human design system, I have a totally open G center, which for me has become my magic center. Because when I'm interacting with a client, I love it because I watch the human design chart literally speak to me. It bounces off the page. It's almost like this 3D conversation. As the client's talking, there's aspects that just bounce right off the page and say, hey, this is where I'm hiding. Help me go through this. So I would love for you to play around with a few things so that you can get deeper into, like, really, truly, who am I? Now, I'm saying this because that is the very first fundamental step in my business building process. So any client that comes with me on this journey to build their business on purpose, create wealth on purpose, we need to get to the heart and soul of who am I? Now we can take all the definition in the chart and lean deeper into who that is. However, there's going to still be flavors of who we believe we are embedded in that. So I help you extrapolate that. When we're in a process together for long term, we can extrapolate so many things, and then it becomes actually fun. And it kind of becomes very interesting because the questions you want to ask yourself are these. Is this really true? Is your belief system really true? So when you hear that conditioned mind say, oh, I'm not good enough to do this, is that a really true statement? And let yourself journal about it. Let yourself process through those questions. Now, the conditioned mind does not want to be questioned. Okay. One of the processes my coach has helped me do is go back prior to the age of 6 and actually witness myself. How did I deal with confrontation, or how did I deal with my emotions? And for me, and it's a part of my design, I got angry. I would stamp my feet. I would get very, very stubborn and get very loud and make sure everybody in the house knew I was unhappy. And once she took me back into this process, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I see that I do that now. But that identity that I created, that way to process, that coping mechanism, became a belief system inside of me. Anytime that I am confronted, that's where my conditioned mind, that's how it thinks it needs to protect me. Then it thinks that that's my identity. And when I question that conditioned mind, it wants to do the same thing. It wants to stomp its feet, wants to get angry and nasty and get really, really loud. So go back to between 0 and 6 and see how you dealt with. Maybe you froze. Maybe you went and hid. Maybe you cried. Maybe you ran. And these are all the things you want to look at. And there can be more than one. Because you want to see, how is that conditioned mind? What is it getting you to do today to protect this identity that you believe that you are? Okay. So who am I? When you lean deeper into that question, who am I? I would love for you to go deeper into the definition of your chart, because it's an accumulation. But who you are is this beautiful essence, this no thing that became something. As Ra would say, there was no thing. I think in the beginning here I said it was something, but it's no thing that becomes something. The start before the beginning is no thing. And Ra has always indicated, and when you're looking into Buddha and most of the quote unquote spiritual texts, there's no morality put into anything. It is what we think is good and bad. It is how we process it through our thought pattern that now begins to give us our belief systems. And these belief systems then layer on our identity. Now, I am not, don't get me wrong, I am not saying that all the layers of your identity are incorrect. That's not what I'm saying. But I want you to lean into it, because so maybe right now you are a wife or a husband. Maybe you're a mom or a father. This is a current identity. It's happening. However, at the core of who you are, that's not who you are. It is the representation of where you are in your life cycle, but it isn't who you are. Okay. So I hopefully I kind of took you around in a little bit of a circle here, because I think it's important to begin to play with all the edges of this. Like, what is your behavior that you're representing? Is it the behavior of your truth? What are some of the rhythms and patterns and discoveries you've had? And how do they layer in to your beliefs and identity? How do you walk your own talk? What are you noticing about your past? And how do you, prescribe your future? And can you lean deeper into your creativity while you're doing this process? So play with this. Because this is the important aspect of business building. Because if we don't know who we are, if we can't reclaim our own intrinsic personal power, what we do is we end up bending over backwards to serve humanity how they want to be served. And I'm telling you, we want to break down that norm. We want to lean deeper into our anarchistic aspect of our design, tear that old belief system down, and create a new identity based off of purity, so that your business, you're actually representing your human design. You're building your business on your human design. And then the clientele are attracted to that. All right. So play around with some of these questions, play around with some of the thought patterns. Watch how you dealt with life between 0 and 6. When it got really, really difficult, what did you do? Recognize that possibly, quite possibly, when life gets really difficult now, the default mode of the conditioned mind is to go back there. So you want to be able to see this so that as you're building your business, that default mode doesn't take you out of the game. All right, friends, until next time, enjoy the process. And I hope to see you on the entrepreneurial path, that empowered entrepreneur that I know that you are.